And now the Toronto Maple Leafs will pick 5th overall, their highest first-round pick since 1989 when they took Scott Thornton 3rd overall. And here is the pick. Now, it is 2 conditional picks, and the Islanders are going to have to decide pretty quickly tomorrow morning on either that 2nd pick this year, 3rd next year, or 3rd this year, 2nd next year.
I never cheer for anybody. I don't care who wins or loses. Toronto wins big here. This is huge for the Toronto Maple Leafs and their organization going forward. This is the start of their rebuild, and you couldn't build it on better shoulders than Luke Schenn's.
That certainly would seem to be the way the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go with this pick. I don't think there was any question coming out of the 1st pick overall, Steven Stamkos, that the next 4 best guys available are defensemen. Now, we had Luke Schenn at number 6. We had Filatov at 5. But in terms of the Russian factor potentially being there and pushing him down a little bit.
We should point out that when Luke Schenn was 16 years old, he joined the Kelowna Rockets when his midget season ended, and they went to the Memorial Cup that year, and the Rockets billeted or put him as a roommate with Shea Weber, their outstanding young defenseman, who, of course, has gone on a great career at Nashville. He also billets with the same billets Weber had in Kelowna, so a lot of comparisons, obviously, different players. But we saw Luke Schenn at the World Junior, Pierre. He was dynamite. Look at Fletcher back on the phone now. What's he got going?
Mike Penny leading the charge there. Mike Penny's got to be thrilled. All the scouts that do all that heavy lifting all during the year, when you can get a player like Luke Schenn, you just go crazy as a scout. This is a franchise player. Barring injury, what a career he will have for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Fletcher endured a long day of flight from Toronto to Kelowna to watch Schenn play through snowstorms and delays, and it was worth it. Here's Mike Penny.
Toronto Maple Leafs are proud to select with their 1st pick in this year's draft from the Kelowna Rockets, Luke Schenn.
And you know what?
The rebuild begin, because
you know
now
what?
it's coming in Toronto.
Toronto's hoping that Luke Schenn gets the same reaction in Ottawa for a lot of years to come.
You know what? We traveled all over Russia last summer in the Super Series court. Luke Schenn was just so great around that whole thing. He was so positive with the other young players on that team. That was a tough trip. Then,
by the way, sorry to interrupt, that's Braden Schenn in the background. His younger brother, who is likely to be a top 5 pick next year.
Plays in the Western Hockey League as well for Brandon, but I can't say enough good things about Luke Schenn. Just a physical impact. This is Adam Foote. This is a one-man search and destroy type of a guy, and you build teams around defensemen like this, Bob.
And what the NHL scouts really like about this guy is that he knows that he's not a great offensive defenseman. He knows his limitations. He knows that he's a defense-first guy, and he doesn't try to do too much with the puck. But what he does do with the puck is highly efficient. He makes the first pass. This guy did not have a single point in the World Junior Championship and was arguably one of the very best players on the ice from start to finish in that tournament. He led Canada in plus-minus. He was +5 at the World Junior. This is a guy who knows his job and knows how to do it. And you're right. He's physically punishing, a shutdown defenseman, mean and nasty.
Now, it's interesting. Yesterday, he was going to meet with the Phoenix Coyotes. Tell us about his interview with Wayne Gretzky and company.
Well, first off, Luke Schenn brought a bunch of friends, brought his brother, brought some other players from the Western Hockey League and some pals because they wanted to meet Gretzky. I'm not sure if it was a serious interview or not because they knew the Phoenix Coyotes that Luke Schenn probably wasn't going to be there when they were picking. But Wayne Gretzky said to him, hey, listen, do me one favor, especially if you're drafted in the Western Conference. Take it easy on Kyle Turris and the Phoenix Coyotes next year.
Well, they don't like the blue and white here in Ottawa, but
I don't care.
Luke Schenn could care less.
They would love to have him here in Ottawa. This
Mike
guy's
Palmetier on one side, Dave Morrison on the other side. Dave Morrison, the chief scout, hey, finally gets the pick in the 1st round, and with a high-end guy like Luke Schenn, and a happy day for the Schenns from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
This is, this is exactly what Leaf fans want. This is a start and a major start of a solid foundation to build around right now.
Now, we should point out, though, that to trade up, Toronto has given up 2 picks, a 2nd and a 3rd. Now, we don't know if they're this year or next year. There's combinations involved, so Toronto has shelled out to get the guy they want. And so, once again, the Maple Leafs could be without a pick for quite a while in this draft unless Fletcher trades up again.
I wouldn't worry about it. I think it's fantastic. I am just so thrilled for Toronto and their fans because this is the start of the new beginning.